The Reason for Running by Rachel Goffard. My mother was always a walker when I was growing up. She walked around our neighborhoods, around town with friends, and would even let me join from time to time. She was always aware of her health and took good care of her body. Although walking is great and active, it can get boring. Before I knew it, my mother was going on runs. She took my stepdad or my stepsister, but I never tagged along for those. I was a big fan of the elliptical or walking, but never really enjoyed running until the last year and a half. I found myself out of shape, and it was affecting not only my health, but my happiness. I watched a few of my family members complete a half marathon and thought, I could do that, but at the time, I never committed long enough to working out to ever believe I would actually finish. But my biggest inspiration to do so was my mother. Back in 2013, my stepdad, my stepsister, and my mother had signed up for a half marathon called Bridge of the Gods. It was out in Cascade Locks, Oregon, and the course was basically one big hill. All three of them had been training together, and throughout the year were keeping tabs on one another. The run was in August, and before my mother was able to complete it that year, she unfortunately tore her ACL in May. We were playing a game of kickball at my birthday. It was her first time up to bat. My brother was pitching the ball, and my mom did a bunt kick thinking she could sprint off. Then in a blink of an eye, she turned off the baseline with a limp. She knew something did not feel right, so she took it easy the rest of the afternoon while the rest of us played. The next week, she went to the doctors hoping for a minor injury. That was not the case. My mom had to have surgery on her ACL the following week after and was able to complete in the half marathon that summer. She was devastated to say the least, but it did not break her spirit because she was determined to do it the next summer, and she did. My mother let her leg heal properly, and then it was back to training. That year, she had my brother's girlfriend, who was a runner herself, complete the half marathon with her. It was in August again. She wore the number 247 and a blue t-shirt. She looked so great in blue. My brother took the trip up with my mother and his girlfriend for moral support. He was like me and not huge into running for fun. As my mom is approaching the finish line, my brother captures her with a big smile and a long stride. She gives him a wave, and the look on her face showing how proud she was of herself. 58 going on 59 at the time, she was glowing. Months to follow, my mom enjoyed the glory of boasting, letting everyone know she met or ran into that she completed a half marathon at her age. She had a bubbly demeanor and big personality, so it never came across as bragging, but something really cool she did. At the end of December that year, my mother was diagnosed with liver cancer. To say it was a shock is an extreme understatement. For all the things she did to keep her health up, to stay active, to be aware about her body and what she puts in it, she was the last person I thought this would happen to. So she decided to fight, and fight she did. She took the measures anyone else did and started chemo 2 weeks later. My mother entered medical trials, tests, and medicine for days on end, but this type of cancer is rarely beaten. With my mother battling cancer, my brother and I took it upon ourselves to get in better shape, to take better care of ourselves. We both started working out, eating better, and changing little things to make it more of a lifestyle change instead of a diet. Mom would come to the gym with me in the beginning of my weight loss journey, but she didn't stay too long as she became tired fast. But in all this, I decided to sign up for a mud run. The mud run was a 3-mile obstacle course. It was in a few months, and my goal was not only to finish, but to not struggle the whole way through. So I ran. I ran a lot. I made running my main priority after work each day. The mud run came and went, and I continued to make running a part of my daily routine. It became my outlet for stress, and if I needed to pick me up, it always made me feel good. It also made my mother very proud, which was a great bonus. As running became a permanent fixture in my life last year, my mom became more ill. She passed away almost a year to the day of her diagnosis, 4 days after Christmas. We saw it coming, but I made myself a promise, one for her too. I would keep running. If I needed to be with her spiritually, that's what I will do. There are times I do not feel like doing it, but it's mind over body, and I know she would be proud of me each day. In her honor, I have signed up for the same half marathon she did in 2014, the Bridge of the Gods. I started a 12-week training program in May of this year. It was a beginner's program for a half marathon so I could ease myself into long-distance running I was going to endure in August. At first, I kept on track each week with the program, keeping up with my runs and still maintaining a good diet. But just like anyone else's lives, there are distractions. I had 2 weddings to attend. I had a few 3-day weekends in there, and things took me away from focusing on my run. I was becoming nervous. The week before the half marathon, I decided to sign up for another planned run in Welch's, Oregon, to get myself back into a routine before the Bridge of the Gods. It was 10 kilometers, 6 miles, and it was definitely a challenge. When I got home from that run, I decided to make a goal for myself. I wanted to either match my mother's time or beat it. I simply wanted to make sure I was pushing myself. The morning of August 13th, 2017, my fiance and I left our home around 5:45 a.m., seeing how it was about an hour drive to get to the half marathon. I picked up my runner's packet, number 400, and relaxed before I hopped onto the shuttle bus to the starting line. Once dropped off, there was about a 15-minute wait until race time. I was pacing and trying to relax, and I kept thinking, what did I get myself into? Then the reminder of my mother finishing this race kept making me feel better. The race began. I kept a good pace the first 3 or 4 miles. There was definitely some walking around mile 5, and I maybe even wanted to cry. But the crying wasn't due to pain or being tired. I missed my mom. I wanted her to be running right beside me. In this strange way, she was. Any of the moments I felt like giving up, I would just feel a rush, probably something she was channeling from wherever she is, to keep me going. I remember seeing the mile 12 marker, giving it a slap, and then all my endorphins kicked in, and I ran the whole last mile with no hesitation. I finished my race in 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 44 seconds, about 10 minutes faster than my mom. I could not believe it. I finished my first half marathon. I was so thankful I completed it and stuck to my goal. I did it not only for my mom, but for myself. At the end of the day, I do enjoy running, but I'll be honest, I'm doing it for her. She is the reason I run.